Hi, ladies. Welcome to the Women in Alignment Facebook group. We're going to be interviewing Natalie Garson today. She is the CEO of Born to Do Business. She's also a business coach. Natalie, if you could tell us a little bit about your business, how you got into this business, and who is your target audience?
Yeah, sure. First of all, thank you for interviewing me. Like I was saying before, I'm used to always interview people, and so I love being interviewed as well. And I also love your group. I have to say that the first time I found it, I was like, wow, it's not possible that there is a group called Women in Alignment, like two of my favorite words. And so I love your group. I love your energy, and I'm so happy that we're going to spend this time together. So, like you said, I am the CEO of the Born to Do Business, which is a company that I started 6 years ago. I've been an entrepreneur for 10 years. But before being in the Born to Do Business, I was a consultant. I was a business development consultant. And like I think we're going to talk about, I had my purpose crisis. I know you have questions for me around that. Um, and I started working with solopreneurs and entrepreneurs, mainly women. I have to say today I have like 98% women in my clients, and it's really about helping purpose-driven entrepreneurs who want to match and align with their purpose and with their gifts, and they want to make money with it. And so that's what I do. I have a program where we help them with content, with training, with coaching, with a lot of beautiful stuff that we help them grow and scale their business.
Wonderful. I love that you touched on that you help purpose-driven women. What would you say is a purpose-driven entrepreneur?
Ooh, that's an interesting question because I myself went through many definitions of that term. I know that I think, like most purpose driven entrepreneur, I was purpose driven even before I knew that I was, if that makes sense. I was behaving like one, but I didn't know that there was a category or there was a label to it. I was behaving like one, which I think, to answer your question, we're talking about people that are really connected to meaning, that need meaning in their lives. They need to have an impact. They need to help. They need to feel that what they're doing is not, just to make money, even though we all need to make money, and there's nothing wrong with that. But it's really people that are looking beyond, like looking at the bigger picture and seeing like, okay, if I'm going to spend already maybe not half of my life, but at least 8 hours a day working, it may as well be for a bigger purpose. And those people, I mean, I'm including myself, and I'm sure that you're also a purpose-driven entrepreneur, really get a big pleasure out of helping others and seeing an impact. So that's how I would define it, basically.
Wonderful. Wonderful. And what are some of the challenges you would say that purpose-driven entrepreneurs face?
So that's a good question, and that's also why I recorded a podcast episode last week, and that's also why I'm having an event next week, because it actually started. I started to observe with my clients, which, like I said, are mostly purpose driven, and with myself, how I was seeing a lot of ups and downs all the time. Now, I don't know if the people that are listening are resonating, but I was seeing also like very, very high highs and very, very low lows. Now, we all know that it's difficult to be an entrepreneur. It's challenging, of course. There's no security. We don't know if we're the next client is going to come. It could be that we're also vulnerable from all different, COVID or external events. So it is difficult to be an entrepreneur. But now that I've researched, because after observing that, I did go into research mode, and I started looking into like, why are purpose-driven entrepreneur um, why is it so difficult for us? Why is it so difficult on a different dimension? Not only the regular business dimension that everybody knows, but on a more emotional dimension, on a deeper dimension. And like I said, I saw first of all the high highs and the low lows, but I also saw that because we're so emotional and because we're so connected to what we feel, that we are going to be very vulnerable when something doesn't work out. It's not just going to be, I don't have enough money, or I don't have enough clients, so I don't know what to do, but more like going to, I don't know if my life has any meaning. I don't know if why I'm here. Like it goes to existential crisis. That is a challenge that purpose driven entrepreneurs have. Another challenge is also the money aspect, right? Because they're so connected to purpose and meaning, they don't always see, I mean, they want the money theoretically, but they don't always work that hard for the money, and they have money mindset issue. They would love to do that for free. And so there are some mindset shifts that have to happen in order for purpose-driven entrepreneurs to really, really make it. Yeah, I think that mainly I'm probably forgetting a few challenges, but those are the main challenges that I'm observing with purpose-driven entrepreneurs.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for sharing. And also, you spoke about your purpose crisis on the Your Jewish Women Entrepreneurs podcast. I wanted you to, if you could at least speak a little bit about that.
Yeah, sure. I spoke about this briefly when I introduced myself. It was, like I said, actually, I didn't know it was a purpose crisis before or while it happened. I only realized that after. But basically, like I said, I was a consultant. I was a successful consultant. I was making money. I was helping clients with their strategies. It was actually bigger companies and corporate companies and organizations. And like everything was going well. There was no reason for me to, change anything I was doing, but something was missing. Something was missing. I was getting up in the morning, not feeling in the right place. I was feeling like I was putting on a game, that I was playing a role, that I wasn't really truly being myself, even though I was doing everything I was doing was fine. There was nothing that I was, being fake but it wasn't aligned, which is another word that I didn't know existed back then, right? And started looking for like, why am I not happy in what I'm doing? Why am I not feeling fulfilled? Now, the reason why I call it crisis is that it wasn't just a question like this, like, why not? It was a really deep, very deep question that it could get me even to cry, at night, or getting up in the morning not wanting to go to work. So there was something much deeper than just, oh, I'm looking for my purpose. It was really something deep and profound inside of me. That's why I'm calling it crisis. And that's what gave me the drive to go look for books, courses, podcasts. Even though at the time there was not that many podcasts like we have now, but really like resources on what do people do when they're looking for meaning. Like, why am I the only one? Is everyone like this? Like, why am I feeling like that? And I realized that it was something that, yes, some people, not everyone, but some people were asking themselves. And then I started asking myself the question, what do I really want to do? What is really, really important for me? And I realized that I wanted to work with people like me that were purpose driven, not just going to work or having a company to make money, but also wanted to change the world. And that's how I shifted my business. And I said, I don't want to work with big companies and big corporate anymore. I want to work with small business owners, people that are purpose driven, that want to help others. And I know how they work because I'm like that. So I can help them. And that was my purpose crisis.
Certainly. And how would you suggest or advise someone find their purpose if they don't feel like, or if they were like you previously, they have a job, they're able to pay their bills, um, and they don't feel excited or when they wake up in the morning? How would you advise that they can find their purpose?
That's a great question. And I actually, when I was looking for mine, I found a lot of people saying that it is important to work in something that you love and to work in your passion. But I found very few that were giving resources or a step-by-step method to get to your purpose. Like, everyone agrees that it's important to do what you love, but very few people have a way to get there. And actually, at the time, I created a method, which I called the Born to Do Discovery Method. And it was a method in 6 steps on how to discover your purpose and how to, make it a potential business, and making money with it. So to answer your question in a nutshell, because like I have a whole course around it, so there's a lot to say. But I would say that I think there are 2 mistakes that people make around purpose that is actually taking them in the wrong direction. The first mistake is when people think that we only have one purpose, and that if we miss it, it's like if we miss our train, like, oh, I missed my train, that's it, I can't do anything anymore. And that is, taking us in the wrong direction, because it's basically saying I have to find this one purpose, and if I don't find it, I'm lost. and it's never going to come back, and I make mistakes up until now, and I'm wasting my time, and this whole drama dimension around it. Whereas it's not happening like that. It's really not. Whatever we do, and I really believe in that, that wherever we are, whether we're in corporate or not in business yet, or already in business but not sure that it's close to our purpose, it is, yes, getting us closer to our purpose. I believe that purpose is a dynamic dimension. It's not something I did it or I didn't, like I checked the box.
Yeah.
And just being alive and going towards, and that's connected to the second mistake that people make, but going towards what we love is already in the energy of purpose. So that's the first thing I would say. It's not like we have one purpose and we might miss it, but we're always in the process of getting closer to it. And I don't even think we even reach it. We always, it's a dynamic process. The second mistake that people make is, okay, so I need to have a step-by-step checklist and to do 1, do 3, do 4, do 5, do 6. And then we have our right brain, which is our rational brain, which is working really hard. I need a strategy. I need to know where, projections and all that, which I love because I'm a business coach. But when we talk about purpose, we have to connect with the emotional brain, and we have to connect with our intuition. And so all the strategies and the projections and the market research and all that, it's fine. You can do it, but don't rely on it, because your purpose is going to come really from your intuition. And your intuition is going to be just like, oh, that's interesting. I like that. Oh, let me read that book. Oh, I like that. Let me listen to that podcast. Or let me call this person. Or let me look more into that. And very often, I know I had an exercise in the Born to Discovery method, which was a very simple exercise, which is look at your bedside. What are your books next to your bed?
Interesting.
Very simple exercise. Look at when you Google search something, like when you have 5 minutes to kill in a waiting room, waiting for a doctor or something, and you go on Google or YouTube, where do you stop? Like, where do you, on your feed? Like, where, are you looking at the kittens? Are you looking at this? Are you looking at that? And that is listening to our intuition. And this is where our purpose is. So, of course, it's about being curious. It's about going further and looking and asking questions, but never feeling like I'm going to miss it, or it's going to come and I'm not going to see it, or I'm not going to know, because it's already inside of us. So there's nothing that can go wrong here.
Absolutely love and appreciated that. You spoke about strategy as well as listening to the emotional side. How much strategy and how much of the emotional side do you think would be a great combination to be successful as a purpose driven entrepreneur?
Oh, I love that question. I'll tell you what, that's what I tell my clients all the time. Even though I love purpose, and purpose is a very big part of what I do, it doesn't pay the bills. At least in the beginning, right? At some point, it starts paying the bills, of course. That's the goal. But in the beginning, when it's at the idea stage and when it's in the intuition stage, it doesn't pay the bills. And so sometimes I say to my clients, you have to be a little bit schizophrenic. Like, you have to have a part of you that works on the strategy, which is, I need to make money. Where do I go now to make money?
Yeah.
What is the low hanging fruit? What is the best strategy that I could implement? What is my expertise? What is my fastest path to cash? How can I make the money that I need to make? And sometimes it is going to be connected to my purpose, and sometimes it's not, but it's okay, because I need to get the ball rolling, and I need to start to continue and start being successful with my business. And then you have another part of yourself, which is, wait, but I do want to be curious about that purpose, that idea, that intuition, that book that I read, that movie that I saw. It doesn't matter what. And I'm going to set aside some time for my intuition. So I talk a lot about meditation. I talk a lot about listening to yourself, journaling. Journaling is amazing. It's an amazing resource, because it's just like, having a one-on-one session with yourself. It's just like that, and you don't even have to pay. So it's really amazing. And listening to people that you are inspired by, that is so important. Now, what I find happening is that people don't set aside that time, because they get caught up in the everyday, paying the bills. So at the same time, we need to pay the bills. That's like our, physical food. But we also definitely must put aside time for our spiritual food and for, aligning with ourselves. And that is like a exercise. It's like a gym, like going to, you need to go to the gym, you need to do that. So a few hours a week, continuing, and then slowly, the purpose becomes more of a, profitable activity, and hopefully you can replace what you were doing, for a living, with your whole purpose. And that is the goal.
Definitely. I really appreciated that. I'm actually reading a book now, and it kind of mentions I was outside gardening. Well, I'm supposed to be gardening, and I noticed that weed tend to grow easily. And then for the plants that I do need to water, if I don't water them, they die. But the weed grows so easily. And I read a book, and it says grass grows where you water it. And I think that's why it's so necessary to take time and kind of water yourself, pour it into yourself with meditation, with journaling, and the type of books that you read. You mentioned reading books. Or do you have any suggestions about some books that people listening to this can take a look at?
Yes, yes. I have two that are really like my Bibles, I could say. Simon Sinek, Your Big Why. That is, I don't know if the Big Why is his exact title, but it's looking something with the why. But Simon Sinek is so. I mean, I've listened to him and read all his books, and he was the one, actually, the really like epiphany moment that I had with my purpose. The same time of this purpose crisis, when I was doing my research, was when I watched his TED talk, the Golden Circle. So whoever hasn't watched the Simon Sinek TED talk, which is I think the first or the second most watched TED talk, so it's really really it's well known, but it hasn't changed. Like I, sometimes watch it again after so many years, and it's same relevancy and same so important. And he speaks about the golden circle. That is really a resource that is a must for people that are looking for their purpose. And the other one is The Power of Now from Eckhart
Oh,
Tolle, which is uh, which is so important, because at the same time that you're looking for something, don't forget
yeah,
to be in the now. Like
yeah,
you can be, going into a direction, but like I always say, in the spiral, right? You're not like straight. You're always
yeah.
like around the same topic, but also enjoying every minute. Because I've seen so many people, and people that come to me, being so desperate around that. Like there's a need that's so emotionally deep, and I always feel like, yes, it's important to have our purpose, but not at this price. Like what is the price we're ready to pay for this? Like we also want to enjoy the process, also want to be happy while doing it. I spoke in my the other podcast. I spoke about the law of attraction. I spoke about the healing of the inner child. All these are also important processes that are happening while we are on our path to our purpose. So
Wonderful.
yeah.
You also touched on the inner child. You kind of relayed that to finding your purpose. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yeah, it's actually not directly related, but it was, doing work on myself that I realized that it was connected in a very indirect way. Meaning that, yeah, we understand, the adult person who is now looking for, fulfillment and working in their purpose, and it all sounds very, glamorous and very nice, someone who wants to work in their purpose. And then you have, like I said, those times where, I call the podcast The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, right? So you have the ugly side of the purpose driven, which is not being able to get out of bed, being depressed, feeling that there's no meaning, not having any drive. And very few people talk about that. It's not something that you say, I woke up this morning, I couldn't get out of bed. You don't say that. You say, I woke up this morning, I was looking for my purpose. Yeah, that sounds great, right? And I realized that this inner child that is, and for those of you who have done work on the inner child, it's really about this child that hasn't received the love and the attention, and that hasn't received the proper, context to be able to grow. You were talking about plants, right? Like to be able to
Yeah.
grow like a healthy and really balanced plant or child. And I find that purpose-driven people are doing that for the good reason. Obviously, they're doing that for the good of. But there is also a side that is also there, to get the love that we can get, and to get the attention that we can get, and to get the recognition and the validation. And there's nothing wrong with that, because that's a drive, and we can use any drive we can. That's fine. But I think that understanding that our search for purpose is also coming from a lack of love is understanding also why we can be so sad or deeply touched by this search or in our businesses. And that's why I believe that we're different entrepreneurs than non-purpose driven entrepreneurs, where strategies that can work for non-purpose driven entrepreneurs are not necessarily going to work for us. So we have to find the right medicine for the right understanding. Where's the right challenge?
Perfect. Thank you so much. Also, you have an amazing event that's coming up, I believe, just in a few days on September 11th through 13th. Can you tell us a little bit about that and what they can expect by attending?
Sure. Well, actually, I was so, fascinating by this whole research around purpose driven that I just wanted to share it. I said, wait, wake up, guys. We're purpose driven. We need special, strategies. We need special attention. We need to understand why this is so difficult sometimes for us. And we need to understand why it can be so potentially amazing for us, like on both sides. And so I decided to put together an event, which is a free event. I love talking about that. It's obviously a way for me to also show everyone how I work and how I teach and what are the contents that I bring to the table. The event is on Sunday through Tuesday, September 11 to September 12. And we're going to really go on a journey during 3 days with some live training, with some Q&As, with some accountability check-ins. For those I don't know if those of you, I don't know if you haven't, but people that have participated in my event, they're always saying, wow, I can't believe this is free. It feels like, we should have paid for something because there's so much value. And that's what I love doing. I love really doing those events just like I do my paid events, because I believe that, when I'm passionate about a subject, I like to share it. And then, of course, if we want to continue our journey together, that's great. But at least the event is there and the content is there. So, yeah, I would definitely put the link to the event. Whoever wants to register, like I said, it's free, and it's quite a journey.
All right, wonderful. It's definitely going to be an amazing event. You definitely don't want to miss. The link will be available. If you would like to attend, just let us know in the comment and we'll respond with that link. Let's see here. If anyone wants to get in touch with you or if they have any questions for you, how would they get in contact with you?
Definitely. So they can go to my website, nataliegarson.com. So it's, with NATH. I'll write the link, but just there's an H and it's an S at the end. Born to Do Business is a great way to find me too. And we have a Facebook group, which is actually open to anyone where the event is going to happen. But it's a Facebook group that's really for people that already have a business and that are purpose driven. So, I mean, you can always apply, but we're only accepting people that already have a business and that are purpose driven. And the name of the group is Grow and Scale Your Born to Do Business. So you can also find us through that on Facebook. And you'll already be in the group when the event happens, but you'll want to register to get the recordings and get all the good stuff that we're sending by email. But yeah, that's how people can be in touch with me.
All right, wonderful. Thank you so much. All right, Natalie, it was a pleasure speaking with you today. Is anything that you want to add or share just before we go?
Yeah, I want to thank you. I want to thank you for bringing all those wonderful people in this group, which I haven't checked lately, but I know is way above 20,000 members, which is an amazing achievement. And I love that you're talking about women, you're talking about alignment. There's a very, spiritual dimension to this group, and I love what you do. So thank you so much for this opportunity.
My pleasure. It was a pleasure speaking with you, and I learned a lot so much, not just today from our interview, but also from your podcast. All right, ladies, we will talk to you soon. Ciao.
Yeah, thank you. Bye.